name is Ian Peoples, and I'm a Jesuit regent working as a prison chaplain in Belize City. Praying with the Stations of the Cross shouldn't be boring, but that's exactly how I felt going to the Friday stations growing up. That is, until I got to play the part of Jesus in a live stations during a high school retreat. That deepened my prayer with the stations in an entirely new way. I heard the jeers of the crowd. I suffered the contempt of the soldiers. I tasted the dirt in my mouth after the first fall. And I never pray through the stations anymore without returning to that retreat experience. 7 years after that retreat, I entered the Jesuits and learned Ignatian contemplation, which makes use of the application of the senses. The insight behind this method is that God has given us the gift of our imagination and wants to use that gift to help us come to truly know Jesus and in turn deepen our faith, hope, and love. But how? Revisiting that retreat experience will help describe the sorts of feelings, sights, sounds, tastes, touches, and smells we can bring to our imaginative prayer. The live action station started with the agony in the garden. I was nervous as I thought of what was to come. The cross I had to bear was physically very heavy, and the stations were at the heart of the retreat experience, and I didn't want to mess that up. In a word, I was afraid. Jesus, too, was afraid. During the stations, the cross dug into my shoulder and my back, and I labored to breathe as it weighed heavy on my body after the first fall. Every muscle burned as I took it up again. My legs shook under the weight. We got to the fourth station where Jesus meets his mother. My friend Selena played Mary, and I saw the sorrow in Selena's eyes, a tiny glimpse of the sword that pierced Mary's heart. Then came the crucifixion. It was dark, and it had begun raining in the sixth station, so the cross was waterlogged. Lightning streaked across the sky, and I shivered in cold fear and exhaustion as they lifted me up on the cross. Jesus must have sensed, albeit to an infinitely greater magnitude, the relief that washed over me as I said, "It is finished," and bowed my head. Like I said earlier, I always return to this experience when I pray with the Stations of the Cross. I relive them in my memory and imagination, and it helps me realize what Jesus and those who loved him went through during his passion and death. And even though you may not have had your own live action experience, you can enter the scenes of the stations as well. You know the pain caused by seeing a loved one suffer. You probably know what it feels like to be held in contempt by others. You have crosses that you bear every day, whether it's arthritis, illness, depression, or the simple stresses of daily life, and the hopelessness that sometimes accompanies those crosses. God wants to use all your life experiences and gifts, especially your imagination, to help you know and love Jesus. And that's my prayer for you this day.